Congratulations, the top 3 drivers at the 1999 German Grand Prix, Eddie Irvine, Mika Salo and Heinz-Harald Frentzen. Eddie, a great result, but not a brilliant start. What happened there?
I got a good start, and then DC made a bad one, so I was sort of boxed in again. And then I took the wrong side of Heinz, going down the straight, so Rubens got me. It was once that happened, I thought, right, I just got to let the race come to me and just look, because I had oil temperature problems, so I just backed off a bit. And really the race came to us.
Now, often you've said you had to wait for the call from Michael. What was it like to give the call to Mika?
Well, I never gave the call, thank God. I know what it feels like. You know, Mika, what a star today. Like, you know, it's his race. He's getting the trophy. I'd feel bad if it was sitting on my mantelpiece. He did a fantastic job, I have to say. Absolutely boy wonder. Incredible.
Now, once again, you had a poor qualifying, but superb race pace. Is that a problem or an advantage for Ferrari?
Obviously, it ain't great to be qualifying, you know, on the second and third rows, but at the minute, McLaren just seems to have the legs of us. Different circuit. The next one's a very different circuit, so hopefully, I think we'll be quick there, you know. And Mika's up to full pace now, so we've got a very strong team. We can go for the constructors now as well, which, you know, everyone thought that was for sure dead. But now he's doing a blinding job, and both could be on the cards.
Thanks, Eddie. Mika, it's been a fairy tale few weeks for you. You've got married, you've landed Ferrari driver, and now your first ever podium. I mean, how do you feel?
It's been very busy, and when it all started, I had a couple of days of testing, and I'm really happy to go back to Fiorano next week and do some testing, finally, after 2 races. I had a big mess last weekend, but this weekend's been quite good, and I haven't made a mistake, and car felt really good all weekend.
Made a great start from the dirty side of the track. Was that after a lot of practice?
I've been practicing starts a lot because I didn't have a good one at Austria, so I've been practicing them a lot, and just happened to grip and took off. It was really good. I was happy about that.
And finally, when you got that call, did you have any second thoughts?
No.
I know I've always asked.
No, not that time, but when later in the race, when Eddie was going a bit too slow, and I was on the radio, I said, "Oh, come on, tell him that he has to go quicker," because Heinz was catching a little bit. And
Thanks, Mika. Heinz, how is it frustrating that after 200 miles you're just 4 seconds behind and chasing all the time?
Well, yeah, basically the start of the race, my start wasn't the best one, but also not the worst one. I had to let Mika through, but I was stuck as well on the outside a bit, and Rubens got me 2-3 laps later. I think he was very fast in that stage. We don't know yet now on which fuel level he was, but he was very quick, so I had to let him through as well. And then I tried to find my pace. I mean, I could just keep on going with the guys, and but I couldn't attack in this moment. And unfortunately, also, I got a flat spot after the 4th or 5th lap. I had a lot of vibration on my first set of tires, and Eddie caught me up at the end, but we made an earlier pit stop just to change tires.
Now, you've moved into 3rd place in the World Drivers' Championship, and you're consistently scoring. Do you think you're in with a chance?
Chance of what?
Winning the World Championship.
Well, I don't think so. I mean, we are in good shape at the moment, and we are able to finish the races, as you said, consistently. We are very reliable. Package is very strong, but racetracks like Hungary, well, we need a lot of downforce. Our car is not as quick like, for example, here in Hockenheim, but we are on the way to improve it, and we're looking forward to improve it. But, well, we have to fight hard for that.
Heinz-Harald, thank you. Eddie, looking forward to the next race, which is at Hungary, which is the complete reverse, a very high downforce circuit. Do you think that's going to play into Ferrari's hands?
Yeah, I think it should be more they are. Like, and it's a circuit I enjoy as well. You know, it's like a little go-kart track. You're left, right, and there's no big stops, which is great. You know, here it's just accelerate, stop. So I'm looking forward to a real, you know, tussle with the car, because there you're just fighting it the whole way around the lap.
And now you're 8 points in the lead of the World Drivers' Championship. You must now really be thinking you've got a good chance.
Well, you know, here today, really, I just thought, right, the McLarens are too quick. We got to just, you know, make sure I finish, get some points, and, you know, live to fight another day. And the race came to us. As long as that keeps happening, we're looking good.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now, Mika and Heinz-Harald, a word in your own language, please.
And you're back with us at Hockenheim, where we have seen an outstanding Ferrari 1-2. Eddie Irvine first in the German Grand Prix, followed by Mika Salo. Delighted to say we can talk to the Ferrari technical director, to Ross Brawn. Now then, Ross, we saw you doing a bit of fishing and a bit of gardening before the race. Not a bad day at work for you, this one, eh?
No, Jim, it doesn't get much better than this.
An unexpected victory, this one, an unexpected 1-2, would you say?
Well, I knew we would be strong here. I didn't predict a 1-2, I must be honest, but obviously McLaren tripped up and that was enough. But a fantastic drive from both drivers.
How do you explain something of a transformation, once again, from Ferrari between qualifying and the race itself?
Well, we're just finding that to concentrate on the race during qualifying is paying dividends. I mean, perhaps we don't get on the front row, but Eddie's very good in that he knows what he has to do during the 2 days of practice. Sometimes qualifying comes slightly second best, but we end up with a good car in the race. The tyres are quite fragile here, so it's critical that we found a good balance, and both the teams on their cars, and Eddie and Mika did great jobs.
The Crown Prince of Hockenheim, Michael Schumacher, not with you, of course, today. How have you had to alter things in the team to compensate for his absence?
It's really not that different. I mean, we had Mika moving over for Eddie today. Obviously that was a bit different, but Mika's actually a very professional driver, and he's fitted in well with the crew that normally look after Michael, so there's been no real changes. And I have to say Mika has been a bit of a hidden talent. I mean, his drive today was fantastic.
Just looking ahead a little bit, if he gets well and is fit again before the end of the season, would it be a problem for Michael Schumacher backing Eddie Irvine to win the world title?
I think it's a problem we could live with.
Are you expecting him, though, seriously, Ross? Are you really expecting Michael to be back in the Ferrari this year, or do you think he might just take a little bit longer to recover?
I think Michael's desperate to come back. I mean, he's really missing the racing. We always have to remember these guys are racers. I mean, that's why they do it, fundamentally. All the rest of the stuff is secondary. So, I mean, he's really missing the racing, and he can see we're competitive. So, he's very keen to get back as soon as he can. But yeah, Mika's doing a great job as well. So, we're not suffering that much, as you can see today.
No, absolutely right. I'd like you to talk a little bit about Mika Salo. I saw him over there in the paddock before the race, and I said, better than watching the race on ITV then, Mika, which he did watch the British Grand Prix, and he said, you're not joking. But I mean, things change very quickly in this world of Formula One, don't they?
Well, perhaps until you give somebody a good team to work with, and Ferrari is a very strong team, you don't know what limit they can step up to. And Mika's obviously been with medium-level teams, and you know, I hope we've been able to give him a good chance here at Ferrari. And he's a very, very good driver. I must admit he's better than I thought, so he's been a very pleasant surprise.
How realistic is it now then, Eddie Irvine, first Ferrari world champion for 20 years?
Well, we'll take the championship whichever way it comes, and if it's Eddie, it's Eddie. On a personal level, I'm sure on a team level, no one's worried who's going to win the championship this year, as long as it can be somebody driving a Ferrari.
I know Tony Jardin's keen to make a point. Just before he does, have you seen the Mika Häkkinen accident? Have you got any thoughts about what might have happened there to Mika?
I haven't seen in enough detail to make a judgment. I'm sure there'll be more information come out, but it was a bit unfortunate, a bit dangerous at that speed, so it unsettles everyone when that happens.
Ross, back to Eddie Irvine for a moment. He works hard, he also plays hard, a bit of a playboy from time to time, but he does take his sport very seriously, doesn't he?
Yeah, I think he's underestimated often. I mean, Eddie's always a good guy for you people for a quote. He's very popular in that respect, but within the team, he's very, very professional, and his levels of fitness, and when he came to us, his fitness was a problem. And I have to say now it's really not a consideration. And you know, he's an extremely professional racer, very talented. It's just that he's been compared with Michael Schumacher for the last 3 or 4 years.
Well done, Ross, thanks.
Yes, Ross, thank you very much indeed for joining us. I suspect you might be leaving the roses and the old fishing rod alone for a while, eh?
Maybe.
OK, thank you very much indeed. Right, Ross Brawn joining us live there. Very good day indeed for Ferrari, a 1-2 here. And if we look back, Tony, at this, another incredible Grand Prix, it has to be said, right from the start.
Well, I'm fairly breathless about the whole thing, as the engines were flat out here on Hockenheim. I'm amazed that people lasted the way they did, with the heat, with the attrition, and so many incidents. But Ferrari to come through this from 1-2, your question about the difference between qualifying and race setup, and Martin's point about the reliability is unbelievable. But Irvine has done a superb job here, absolutely amazing. Look at this straight from the start, because there's no grip at this first corner at the Nord curve, but everything seemed to go very well. What you've got to watch is Heinz-Harald Frentzen dancing all over the place, and in the background, I think it was Genet who just tips into Villeneuve there, who goes into Deniz. He got pushed into him definitely. Not much grip at the Nord curve, straight sideways on into the tyres, luckily for them. So there's mayhem behind them. Here we are, look at this. Häkkinen's getting out into the lead, but Salo makes an absolutely blinding start to get up into second place, and David Coulthard left on the outside. Again, we see it. Those gaps were created by Heinz-Harald Frentzen and his manoeuvres across the front. Meanwhile, at the back there, Villeneuve could do nothing about that as he was tipped, and he tapped Deniz and both off into the tyres. They're very lucky that nobody was hurt, in fact.
I tell you what, big problems for the team that arrived with such a blaze of publicity, that British-American racing team. Villeneuve still yet to finish a race.
It is dire. I mean, there's been a lecture back at the factory by Craig Pollock to say to everybody to raise their game. Succession drive shaft failures, engine failures, hydraulics failures, you know, and a lot is expected. It is a big budget team. The team have had time to gel now. So, and there's another big rumour that Craig Pollock is under demands from the big sponsors. You've got so much time now, Craig, to get your act together with this lot.
Poor old David Coulthard, he's had a runny nose all weekend. There's been a feeling a little bit under the weather, and he gave the nose on the old McLaren a bit of a tapping as well.
Yeah, now this, I think he's going to be in a bit of trouble for this back at McLaren here, because this is the point where he loses the nose cone up against Mika Salo, going for that second place. Now, McLaren needed those points, very valuable points indeed. There's Mrs. Häkkinen looking on. Perhaps she thought it was Mika for a point, but it wasn't. And of course, he ended up having to come back, and he's just got, you know, the 2 points there.
Sure, he had a lot of ground to make up, and then he got another penalty, and we believe that this is what it was for. David Coulthard sort of doing a bit of rallying to take Olivier Panis, Tony.
Well, because he's had to come in for the new nose cone, which has cost a lot of time. He's stuck behind Panis. Panis has got the power of the Peugeot engine. All poor David can do is force his McLaren across the inside of the curb. And if you take all four wheels across the curb like that, and then you pay the penalty of getting sideways as you're trying to get the power down out of one of the many chicanes here at Hockenheim, that, of course, causes a 10-second penalty. And he could have been up in the top three easily, and he's back there losing points to McLaren. So he will be in a bit of trouble, but apparently he still has his job.
Sorry, Tony, we said at the start that Mika Häkkinen was the man to beat. While all that stuff was going on, he looked as though he was going to win here once again, but then things went dramatically wrong for him in the pits. You've worked down in that area extensively. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, and it is, I mean, it's a pressure cooker down in the pits. You are just as nervous working there. There's the boys from Woking, the boys from McLaren. They are well drilled. They know what they're doing. But you can't help it if there is a problem with the fuel rig and then it has to be swapped over. Which it does. There it is, going back, and out comes the other nozzle because we can't get the fuel. And all the time the driver is sitting in there frustrated. Chief mechanic Michael Nagain has to hold the driver, prevent him from going. That was Ralf Schumacher coming into the pits on the same lap there. But already the time has gone, the fuel flap's still open, and there go the Ferraris into first and second place. Häkkinen only coming out in fourth place, of course. Now, we're also speculating, did he run over something, a little bit of debris when he was in the pit lane? Did he run over some debris on these next two laps before his unfortunate accident afterwards?
Well, Mika Häkkinen, of course, has had one very, very bad crash in his career in Australia. I mean, even he said afterwards, normally calm Mika Häkkinen, hey, it's the sort of thing that turns you grey when you lose it at over 200 miles an hour.
I am absolutely amazed that he got out unscathed from that one, because if you look at it, it's a similar speed, perhaps even faster. Now here you're coming in at 250 miles an hour, 215 miles an hour. That left rear tyre, I believe, has gone down as well. What saved him a lot is that there were spins going there. It took a lot of speed off the car. There you go, onto the tarmac and not the gravel, the grass, straight across there on the Adjit curve and onto the inside of the Opel curve. The gravel does its job much better when a car is spinning rather than going straight on. That will have slowed down. And also the layers of tyres, and you can see that. Either a piece of bodywork has failed as the tyre has actually burst, A tyre delaminated in the same way for David Coulthard yesterday, it is believed. The tread came off. Bridgestone have sent that tyre back. They said it was cut and it wasn't down to them and it didn't go. So that, you know, who knows what has happened there, but it wasn't the rear wing braking. That was the left rear tyre going down.
Absolutely, but it has to be said again that the safety regulations have done their job, and it was a great sight to see Mika Häkkinen walking away from that.
It was, but if you think about Michael Schumacher, what he did with his nose, he went in between the two sets of tyres, and normally they put a shroud along the front of the tyres to stop the nose piercing through. The angle that Schumacher went in broke the nose off, and that's what broke his leg. But the tyres here had absorbed and parted, and the nose obviously stayed in one piece for Mika Häkkinen. No damage, fortunately, to the 1998 world champion.
Tony, thank you very much indeed. Time to go to the press conference to hear from the top three, from Heinz-Harald Frentzen, from Mika Salo, and from the winner, Eddie Irvine.
Eddie, a great result, but not a pretty...
He did well, didn't he, Heinz-Harald? And justified all your confidence. You told us to watch out for him during the race. And what a brilliant gesture that is, by the way, from Eddie Irvine, giving the winner's trophy to his man of the race, to Mika Salo. When you rejoin us, we'll hear from David Coulthard. And you're back with us analysing the German Grand Prix of Ferrari. 1-2 then, Irvine and Salo. David Coulthard had a lot of ground to make up, didn't he, after that old stop-go penalty. He had a great scrap with Alexander Wurz.
Yeah. I mean, I must say, he made those little mistakes and paid the penalty for them. But he fought all weekend long, and he had the most nervous car of all. And he had to come in, you know, after the penalty. Then he had to come back in again for a splash and a dash, and out he comes just in front of us. And he's trying to, you know, get that 8th place there as he's charging back up the field. He's on the tyres coming out, bang, and they're going side by side. That's like Monte Carlo all over again. And Franz Wurz really is a very brave fighter indeed, the man who loves to go mountain climbing and hang off the edge of cliffs. There he was, hanging off the edge of the curbs, right on the ragged edge here at Hockenheim. And David Coulthard having none of it either. Even the Benetton twitching away there through the Clark curve, and not until they get down to the Ost curve here, down at the far end of Hockenheim, flat out, over 200 miles per hour. And David Coulthard really toughs it out there, wheel to wheel, tyre wall to tyre wall, and gets through into the 7th place and fights his way up to 7th. An absolutely brilliant job from Coulthard after those 2 mistakes, Jim.
Yeah, thank you, Tony. A terrific cameo there from a magnificent race. David Coulthard ended up 5th, just to remind you, and he has been talking to Louise Goodman.
David, an incident-packed race for you. Difficult to know where to start, but let's start at the beginning. The incident with Salo.
Yeah, I think I could kind of suck it into that. I had no intention of trying to overtake him at that corner. And all of a sudden he seemed to have stopped in front of me. And I've got, you know, I had to turn to the inside to try and avoid him, but it was too late and I hit my wing. Similar incident with Olivier. That's why I think I got the stop-go penalty, because I did cut over the curb to avoid hitting him.
What did you feel when you saw that stop-go penalty come up?
Yeah, clearly I was disappointed. You know, it's not a good day for the team with Mika having his tyre problem, and 2 points for me. It's not the perfect German Grand Prix.
Came in for a splash and dash at the end. Your timing as you went out and cars came streaming past you. What were you thinking then?
I knew it was going to be close. The team were telling me to push. I was trying very hard on the worn tyres to push, and I tried to pass as many as I could between coming out and the end.
So sum up the day for us.
That's disappointing. You know, we've got 2 points from a possible 16, so from a team point of view, it's been a bad day.
A bad day then for David Coulthard. Looks like it's going to be one of Johnny Herbert's better days of the season, until he ground to a halt yet again. Poor Johnny.
Yeah, great shame, and especially as Jacques Nasser, the big boss, the CEO of Ford, is here as well. And the cars have proved a little fragile, but very, very fast. Great power from the Ford engine. And, you know, Johnny is always the one that seems to get the luck, but he needs to get some finishes to try and keep his place for next year.
What did you make of Damon Hill then, Tony? He said before the race he was feeling his age a bit.
You know, it's not so much that. It's just that Damon is a very, very fast, smooth driver. You need to be aggressive with these particular cars, especially now they've got the 4 grooves in them, in the tyres, and they're so dependent on the aerodynamics. You watch the guys that really muscle the cars, they get the best out of them. Damon has always been very, very fast and smooth.
Tony, thank you very much indeed. Let's just confirm how things look then after the German Grand Prix. There we go then. Look at that. Eddie Irvine, 50 up and roaring away. Häkkinen 2nd, Frentzen 3rd, Schumacher, Coulthard and Ralf Schumacher 6th for Williams and Indy Constructors. Just confirming this has been a heck of a day for Ferrari. Okay, then let me tell you, football is back on ITV. It's Hungary, qualifying live on the Saturday, 11:30. The race live, build-up starts at 12:15 and the highlights just after midnight. What a great 7 days for Eddie Irvine. 20 points in the bag. He's the new championship leader and that world title's on the horizon. It's been another great Grand Prix. See you in a couple of weeks.
Congratulations, Ross. That must be an unexpected one too.
It wasn't unexpected. I thought we'd be strong in the race. We saw Häkkinen had a problem, we were there, so no, it wasn't unexpected.
And did you ask Mika to move over for Eddie?
Yes, yeah, I mean, obviously Eddie had a bit of a temperature problem. We were worried about him following him, so our team tactics for that.
Brilliant team race, thank you.
Rundown. The relaxed Irvine wins, watched by mum and dad for a change. He's given the trophy to the excellent Sarlo. Frentzen third, that's his best ever home Grand Prix. Ralph Schumacher performing wonders for Williams. Then the under-the-weather Coulthard, quickest lap for him laid on. Panis getting his second point of 99. Wurtz, 7th for Benetton. Alesi, 8th after starting on the back row. Genet and Badoa, that's encouraging for Minardi. Johnny Herbert, so unfortunate, classified 11th. The non-finishers, De La Rosa spun, Häkkinen had that crash. Zanardi went with a broken differential. Zonta and Takagi's engines failed. Damon Hill's brakes went. Trulli's engine blew. And Fisichella had broken suspension. The hydraulics failed for Barrichello, and Deniz and Villeneuve crashed out on that first lap. Well, next it is the Hungarian Grand Prix. Watch for qualifying live on the Saturday from 11:30. The race build-up starting at 12:15 on the Sunday, and the highlights round about the same time. Right, we saw Michael Schumacher roar home in Budapest last year. In his absence, would you bet against Irvine and a winning hat-trick? Good night.
If you'd like to know more about Formula One, the website address sponsored by Level 3 Communications is www.itv-f1.com.
Christina Marjavisi, and also the leader at the moment, MS Korda. There she is, number 18.
Elég, negyed fordulat balra, félpihenő oldalt.
Flexing of the muscles not really appreciated in this physique.
After another brilliant strategic win at Hockenheim, the Ferrari team explains how they communicate during a race and plot their brilliant victories.
The radio communication is vital during a Grand Prix weekend. Because I mean, it's the only way for the team to communicate with the driver and for the driver to communicate for the team.
You always communicate as little as possible because you have to keep concentration, and talking to the radio takes away concentration.
It's important, but at the same time you got to watch your board, because whenever box comes in, you got to come in because maybe there's a problem with the radio. Like Monaco had a problem with the radio, but I'm lucky I look at my board every lap just to make sure.
They read the pit board less now than they used to because of all the information they have on the steering wheel. With the radio we use a lot more than ever before. So the radio is a very important factor. And there's a lot of communication during the whole race from the engineers to the driver, and obviously to the technicians who are looking at the telemetry, and to ourselves who are preparing for the pit stops.
The direct link to the driver, certainly in Michael's case is myself, and in Eddie's case is his engineer, and they're the only two people they hear.
As a driver you talk as little as possible, except having problems. But normally it's the pit comes to you to tell you what is the story, and you may reply just whether you understood or you didn't.
I've got lots of people coming into me. I've got the people monitoring the car in the garage through telemetry. I've got people telling me what the tyres are like that came off when we did the pit stop, whether they're worn heavily, whether the tyre pressures are right, what the temperatures are like.
It's a sort of a circle where the information can come via telemetry from the car to the engineers and through radio informing the driver. That's the way that basically all the information run during the practice and race.
I mean, it's the only way of giving information and receiving information, and it may determine the whole race.